Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 127. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this meteoric Wednesday evening, Earth date October 4th, 2017. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock. With me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Hey, all you sweethearts out there on the internet. This is Brandon Full coming to you from the pants of the World Wide Web, peeking my head out from the belt buckle. How's it going, baby dolls?
I like it.
It's good to see you, Remington. This is totally just my normal voice.
That is. It's really sexy.
That's way better than my actual voice.
Like, at least by 50%.
I don't think I could keep that up every episode.
Why not? I do my radio voice all episode, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll talk about it at the end of the episode, but I recorded another podcast with a guy yesterday.
Yeah.
And he had like the most smooth radio voice.
Yeah.
It's like, I felt like such a piece of shit compared to him, because he's like, we're talking Halloween stuff, and he's like, so Brandon, what'd you think about this movie? And I'm like, oh geez, I don't know.
I'm Brandon. Oh.
Sarcastic comment.
Oh, that's my bread and butter. That's what pays the bills.
So I figure I'll try a little bit more of, who is that? Hey baby. I have no
idea. Is that supposed to be mimicking someone?
Yeah, it's like, it's not Dean Martin, I don't think. How's it going, baby? Baby.
I guess it's kind of Deanie. It's kind of a cross between maybe Dean and Frank.
Brandon Martin?
Brandon Dean Sinatra?
Breen Dandon. Yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah, we can't portmanteau ourselves out of this one.
Portman Brandon.
Portman
Brandon.
Port and starboard.
Portman Brandon, the story of a sailor. Nice to meet you. The name's Portman Brandon. Would we get more listeners if I talked like a pirate instead?
Maybe. We should do another pirate episode, only do the whole thing as a pirate.
Can you do the not the full intro, but and with me as always is my co-host Brandon Full. Do that whole intro and introduce me, and I'll try it as a pirate.
Oh, do you want me to do the intro as a pirate too?
We're both pirates?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Don't do the whole intro, just the
No, I'll do the whole thing.
Okay, cool.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 127. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this meteoric Wednesday evening, Earth date October 24th. Or wait, it's just the 4th. I added 20 more days to that, 2017. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
How's it going there, Remington?
Yar, it's finer than a frog hair split 4 ways.
I got in trouble for arm wrestling an octopus.
Oh, you did ya? That's mutiny, sir.
I was cheating on me wife with a porpoise.
I was cheating on me wife with a card deck.
With a card deck?
I ran out of dice to throw across the poop deck.
I feel like you're running out of nautical terms real fast.
Portman Brandon.
Nice to meet you.
We've come full circle.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
I think we can put a ribbon on this episode.
It's done. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Always leave them wanting more.
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous. Okay. What have you been up to? What's been going on?
Normal stuff. I have been playing a new game that just released a few days ago called Cuphead. Have you seen anything about that?
Have you? Jesus, even you've been playing Cuphead? Why haven't you been fucking streaming it on our Twitch?
Because I play it on my Xbox.
So?
And you can't, I don't think you can stream on Twitch on Xbox. They're trying to introduce their own Mixer program. So you have to use Mixer. They might have Twitch on there. I don't know. But if they do, it's way harder than streaming on Mixer.
I'll just get you a capture card.
Has everybody been streaming Cuphead forever?
Yeah,
everywhere?
seems like it. I mean, well, okay, to be fair, I haven't seen anybody like my YouTubers that I watch. I haven't watched any of them playing Cuphead. But it is incredibly popular in the Twitch community. And I'm sure all of the YouTubers will be coming out shortly. But I know like my main two gamers that I watch are Markiplier and Jacksepticeye.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them are like doing tours and stuff at the moment, so it just came out. So, but Smokealoke over on Twitch, who we interviewed way back in the day, he was playing it just the other night.
Yeah, Cuphead seems to be super popular. Like, I didn't realize a lot of people were streaming it, but I can understand why. I mean, it's super repetitive. For people who are listening who don't know what Cuphead is, it was a game that was announced in 2014. It's a run and gun side scroller bullet hell game.
Right.
It's kind of like Contra or anything like that. You basically just hold the fire button in and you constantly shoot, and there's just enemies thrown at you all the time.
Yeah.
So by itself, it's kind of a standard game. It has a super high difficulty. You die constantly, but the entire thing is hand drawn. It's done in like a 1930s original Disney style animation. That's kind of the big draw of the game.
Yeah. And I mean, the game itself looks beautiful. It looks like it's a lot of fun. I was watching a video that was 22 minutes of a guy beating all of the bosses and getting an A+ rating on them. And I watched a good 15 minutes of that before I was like, wait, why am I doing this? Like, I'm watching this dude play this game. That's all I'm doing. I don't know why.
I don't know if I would necessarily call the game fun in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing through it and I'm enjoying the time. Like, in my free time, I've been playing it some, and I've gotten to World 2 and I've beat all the bosses and stuff so far. But yeah, I mean, it's like Dark Souls level. You will die a lot. I've put maybe 3 hours into the game, and you can check how many times you've died, and I've died 180 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's a lot of death there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not great at these types of games anyway.
Yeah.
But I got caught up in the hype. You can get it on Xbox One and PC, and it's $20, which is a good price for something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it looks like it's addictive. And I mean, a lot of people have been saying that's really tough too. Like, I've seen some of the gameplay and it's just throwing shit at you. And so, I mean, this seems pretty amazing and a really good value for how much it is. I mean, I kind of want to play it myself.
Yeah, it's fucking hard. It is the difficulty is ridiculous.
Yeah. Can you get it for PC?
Yeah, it's like you're not even listening to me, Remington. I said Xbox One and PC.
I'm only partially listening.
Would it help if I did a pirate voice?
Yes.
You can get it for Xbox One and PC.
Yarr. So I was trying to restart my macro buttons. They don't seem to be going. There they are. There we go.
Remington, do you know what the pirate got on his report card? Do you? 7 C's.
I was getting to the C's, like I was saying letters in my head. Here's how this played out. I was saying, okay, can I make a pirate joke out of an A? No, I don't think so. A B, maybe. Oh, C. Oh, C. Okay. So what's the significance of a C? Okay. And then you filled it in. So
yeah,
thanks. It was a good joke.
Hilarious pirate jokes.
That's right. Hilarity.
DuelingOgres.com.
DuelingOgres.com.
So what about you? You have anything of note to discuss?
I have been, you can see these little posters right here behind me.
Yeah.
On my couple of free days off, I was doing a little woodworking. So I got a long dowel rod, and I had a couple of flags that were a Horde and Alliance flag, and I got those hung up out on our front porch because we're nerds.
Yeah.
And then I have these little canvas prints that need boards behind them. So that's what I was doing in the garage right before we started. I was making some frames to wrap that canvas around.
So you're pretty much turning them into like a canvas poster?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And there's like 5 of them, I think, and they're like they make up an actual picture, but they're separate. So they
Gotcha.
if you know what I mean, they're all the same picture, but they're split up over different canvases.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been doing that. Stephen Hines came in and spent the night this past weekend.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was fine. I was kind of hoping that we'd have time to maybe sit down and do a quick little interview, but he's used to going to bed relatively early. I had just got off
He's like
work.
in his 60s, isn't he?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
112. He looks really good. I think it's partially because he's a zombie.
For 112? Yeah, he
yeah.
doesn't look a day over 93.
No, not at all. But I mean, you could tell that he was tired. And I came home from work and I was tired, and we both had the con to go to in the morning. Yeah, so that kind of fell apart real quick.
Yeah.
The idea did anyway. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. My last days off. My days off now have been Wednesdays and Thursdays, and the last days off were woodworking and cleaning the house so he could come and stay. So nothing exciting by any stretch of the imagination.
Are Wednesdays and Thursdays consistently your days off now?
Yes.
Okay, so we will record on a Wednesday or Thursday then going forward?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Unless something changes.
All right. Which there's a good chance it will at some point, right?
Ultimately, I'm wanting to get it to where instead of doing 10-hour shifts, we're doing like 5-hour shifts and working like 6 days a week with some 8-hour shifts thrown in at the tail end of it.
Okay.
Just so we can make our 40 hours. But because 10-hour shift and having nobody in your store is the worst. I would rather have 2 fresh salesmen working 5 hours apiece than one salesman who by the end of the day doesn't want to sell anything to anybody because he's had nobody in his store all day.
Yeah.
Or conversely blows a sale because he's too excited to see somebody in his store, you know?
So he just blows that sweet mattress wad all over.
That's right. So, I mean, it's, I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, sales, but when you're working in a job where your job resides solely in the realm of you have to make sales or you don't have a job.
Yeah.
You kind of have to worry about it.
You can make so much money in a sales job.
Yeah, if you have customers.
I fucking hate sales jobs, though. I hate that desperation of like every person who walks through the door is make or break. And basically, if I have 2 people today and I want to be good at my job, I need to sell something to both of these people.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I don't like that kind of a mentality. I'm a people pleaser for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely make sure that my customers know that I am there to make them comfortable. I exist to help them find something that they can enjoy and rest and relax on, which I think is a very important thing. I know my product, I believe in my product, but, ultimately, I'm not going to pull the smarmy things to make somebody buy something.
How do you mean? Just,
standard car salesman fare. Like, I just don't like that kind of sales tactics.
Yeah.
I recognize how important it is to make a sale. That is not lost on me. Mm-hmm. But, if I can't convince somebody by my knowledge of the product that they need to buy from me, then I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
So, but we have a lot of people who come back to us after.
Do you plan on working in sales? Like, do you want to have sales be like a career? Not necessarily this job specifically, but just in sales.
I love retail, but not necessarily sales. But
you like the people interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. I love people interacting. So speaking of happiness in your life and job, and whether or not you're happy with it,
yeah.
I think our first story should be, according to a new study released from the Nottingham Trent University.
Oh, goodness.
Smartphones have a direct result on our mood and can potentially make us very grumpy.
Okay, and why is that?
So, according to the researchers, the main culprits were notifications that were relating to work, as well as phone updates. Anything basically that was work related or non-functional to their happiness at that moment.
Okay.
So like people become more happy when they have social notifications. Like, oh, my Facebook went off. Maybe it's somebody talking to me about something cool, maybe somebody liked my post and cares about the words that I have to say. Much like a podcast being shared by hitting the share button in the Facebook, or, sending it out to anybody else and getting more likes.
Subtle.
Thumbs up. Sharing your favorite podcast with all of your friends and family and making sure that they know that I say fuck a lot. But conversely, notifications that have nothing to do with social interaction, like updates to your phone, random apps intruding into your life, telling you about some bullshit that they have going on. Oh, Amazon says that there's this thing that you wanted that's on sale. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm right in the middle of dinner with my family, Amazon. Can you save that shit for later?
Well, see, I know last night we were talking and I'd messaged you and you were irritated that the message I'd sent you on Facebook had woken you up.
Uh-huh.
And that kind of blows my mind because I turn off all notifications on my phone all the time.
Yeah.
Because it drives me fucking crazy for my phone to vibrate or beep. I don't even have my ringer on most of the time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
See, I do, and actually for a lot of reasons. Going back to work talk, we cheerlead each other whenever somebody makes a sale. Good job.
In the full uniform?
Yes, uh-huh.
It's God, I'd love to see you in a miniskirt.
You and everybody else, sister. So like we have a little group chat that we have, and whenever somebody makes a sale, it's like, hey, good job, way to go, outstanding, great, super job, fun times, we're had by all. And it's nice, but it's something that, we're kind of expected to be chiming in on, at least most of the time. And that leads into a whole different psychological discussion about whether or not, say I make a sale and nobody chimes in, does that mean that everybody else is busy trying to make a sale and then they don't? Or does that mean that somebody's just busy cleaning something and they're not paying attention to their phone, or they have their ringer off? So it's funny because phones if you really think about it, phones stress people out a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thoughts as if you're having a conversation with somebody and they fucking just stop messaging you. Like you're in the middle of a conversation, or maybe you're just ready to finish a conversation and then they never fucking get back to you, and they've seen it. They left you on red. I love that phrase. I don't know why. There are very few newer phrases that I like, but I like the left you on red.
Left you on red?
Yes, READ, red.
Okay.
So, he's left. I think it's because it sounds kind of British. Oh, he's left you on red, has he? That twat. That fucking wanker. So, I don't know. I think that's why I like it. But,
yeah,
that stresses people out. Like, even somebody who purports to be as zen as I am, if somebody doesn't respond to me at least with a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to figure something out or carry on a conversation and I'm just like,
well, I think it's because it's right there. It's in your pocket. It's like you have your phone with you so much and you're using your phone so often to check for things. I mean, I use my phone as like my clock and my MP3 player and all kinds of stuff, like most people do. So you always have access to it. Like my last job before I started working at NASA now,
right?
You worked there for a little bit too.
Yeah.
And without getting into it, that place and the people there are fucking insane. And I had got my phone and I was expected to be available to answer calls and texts anytime, on or off shift. I wasn't paid salary. And after I left there, I had a moment of like, never again. Never again am I going to be so fucking tethered to this thing that I can be called or texted whenever.
Right, yeah.
And I know it annoys jobs now that I have when they'll call me to ask me a question or text me, and it takes me like an hour sometimes to reply back.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the best work ethic, but I've never purported to have the best work ethic. But,
right.
I'm not going to be fucking tethered to my phone. I don't want to be available to contact at a moment's notice with the expectation to contact you back immediately.
Right, exactly, yeah. And I think, for the most part, if you have a day off, I think that it's very unnecessary for your job, unless it's something very important, to try and get a hold of you.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, I have Wednesdays and Thursdays off now. I have a guy who's working in my shop right now. He is still fairly new. He might need to call me if he has a question. That's expected. I might have to interrupt my day off to go help him do something that he was unable to do. And I'm okay with that, but there will be a point at which it will be my day off and he'll have most everything under his belt. And if he contacts me for some reason, I'll be like, dude, can this not wait until tomorrow? Can't you figure this out? So there'll be a time where that'll come.
So you're just going to be real shitty to the new guy.
Yeah, well, at that point, he won't be new.
Okay.
So.
And then you've basically hazed him in.
That's right.
And not stuffed him into the cheerleader's outfit and shoved him into a mattress.
Exactly. Not that I'm even worried about it. I'm just saying that there will be a point in time where I'll be like, okay, I mean, this is something that you should know by now, so I don't know why you're contacting me.
Yeah.
But if it's not, if it's something he's never encountered, which happened, I mean, hell, even recently, I've been there for a year and there's still more things that I'm learning about, so.
You go on top of the mattress.
That's right. Fancy.
Okay, so these British bastards basically said that our phones make us unhappy?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is to gather the data. The scientists invited participants to download an app that would collect information about their phone's notifications over a 5-week span. In all, the scientists observed 50 participants as they received over 500,000 notifications over a 5-week span, self-reporting their reactions in a questionnaire 3 times a day.
Okay.
So this is from news.com.au. Just one place to find this story.
Speaking of smarmy imperialists trying to tell us what to do with our lives.
Okay.
The newest writer for Venom is Kelly Marcel, who also wrote the 50 Shades of Grey screenplay.
Wait, so I don't get the transition there.
So she originally penned the screenplay to 50 Shades of Grey and now is hired on, and she's apparently the second woman to head the writing of a screenplay for a superhero movie.
Okay. Have
you seen anything on the Venom movie so far?
No, not really. I have not been following it. So, I mean, it is funny just to kind of get an insight into what happens when Hollywood writers get hired on to do another job. That as a career is very interesting to me. Like, there's got to be countless writers, right? And there's got to be countless people within that writing community who have read or has been influenced by Spider-Man, and to that end, even Venom and the different storylines. So the question is what was her name again? Kelly something?
Kelly Marcel.
Kelly Marcel. So the question is what does Kelly Marcel bring to the Venom table?
A couple things. I'm getting this information from Screen Rant. It says that she's penning the latest script.
Okay.
So this Venom probably has multiple scripts written at this point.
Yeah, and there may be multiple script writers as well.
Yeah. Some of the other stuff she's worked on was the short-lived Fox series Terra Nova, as well as Saving Mr. Banks and the upcoming Emma Stone-led Cruella for Disney.
Okay.
I am not familiar with any of those.
Okay. I don't know. For some reason, I can't even say this to be any kind of a fact or anything. It's weird to me not knowing what kind of a tie a writer has to the universe that they're getting themselves into. Like, that's the thing that I want to know. What prompted her to be approached for this? is she doing any research if she doesn't know anything about Venom's story? You know, all of these factors when it comes to these properties that have been, you know, cemented in stone for God knows how long and reinvented countless times. You know, what makes a writer come in and say, I want to tackle this guy?
Yeah. Money. I would say money.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to write this script? Are you paying for it? Well, yeah, some. Okay, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, let's make this happen. Yeah.
What's his name? Denim? Is he like
is he a jeans monster?
Yeah, he's some sort of jeans monster? Sure. Let's get cracking.
Yeah. Craig McCracken, you can get him. Sweet.
Well, and I mean, if she wrote on Terra Nova, I have no idea what Terra Nova is.
But it sounds
maybe
spacey.
Sci-fi-y.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe she has, and writing Cruella, which I don't know what Cruella is either. Although if it's Emma Stone, it sounds like maybe it's like a 101 Dalmatians thing.
I mean, Cruella DeVille, I would think. Yeah.
Is it a fucking origin story for Cruella DeVille?
I hope so. Maybe we'll find out how she turned into a dog-killing bitch.
She didn't kill the dogs herself, though, did she?
I mean, does it matter? Just literally rounding up 101 Dalmatian puppies to skin them and make a fucking coat out of them.
You gotta have a coat, dude.
You do. You do have to have a coat.
Oh, yes. Cruella looks to explore the character's roots, much like the Angelina Jolie Maleficent, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a thing that Disney's doing.
Yeah. So back to Kelly Marcel here.
Yeah.
And the Venom movie. This is what I think is a little interesting. Venom's start date was pushed back. So its release date is now planned for October 5th, 2018.
Uh-huh.
So the script is still being written and the release date is a year and a day from now.
Yeah, that's
a Venom movie. You know how much special effects are going to have to go into a fucking Venom movie?
Yeah.
And the pretty strong rumors that it's Venom versus Carnage.
Yeah, that timeline does not sound accurate by any stretch of the imagination.
And I don't know if we talked about this before, who's playing Venom.
Crap, I don't remember if we did or not.
Okay, I'll go into this just very briefly because I've talked about this before.
Okay.
Casting the same fucking actors in all of these superhero movies.
Yeah.
Venom is being played by Tom Hardy.
Oh, yes, we did talk about this, yes.
Like, how many fucking... Okay. All right, so that's all I need to say. And I like Tom Hardy, but just for God's sake, like, you're going to watch superhero movies and you have the same dude playing Venom and the same dude playing Bane in this movie. And it's just... It annoys me, man.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, at least it's two different universes.
Yeah, and it's nothing to do with that. I just think it's just you have to have a star for a movie. So I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a better casting for Venom. I just wish they didn't cast the same like fucking 10 dudes in every movie.
Right. I mean, like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern.
Yeah. And then anytime you see people suggest a new movie, like is it I know we had this discussion before. Is it Josh Brolin or James Brolin? Josh Brolin is playing Cable in the new Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
He's also Thanos in the Avengers.
Yeah.
And it's just find another fucking guy.
Yeah. There's a new Hellboy movie.
I saw the still images for that, and the makeup looks exactly like the comic and Ron Perlman's Hellboy.
Yeah.
It's a new movie or a series? Oh, yeah, it's the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, it looks like it's the director is Neil Marshall, and Hellboy is being played by David Harbour. And I mean, it looks like he has like of course, the original Hellboy live action was he had his hair kind of pulled up a little bit. This looks like he's a little more disheveled looking, at least in the hair. But yeah, of course, David Harbour has been Stranger Things, State of Affairs, The Newsroom, Manhattan, several series, many different movies, including Quantum of Solace, Suicide Squad, The Equalizer, End of Watch. So, I mean, he's been a whole lot of places, and now he gets to play Hellboy.
Wow, I had no idea I just knew him from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, no, he's been in all kinds of things.
He's pretty prolific.
Yeah, he has many IMDb credits. Of course, getting the start in the old Law and Order world, as most people do.
Yeah. If we're talking about casting, I'll just go ahead and drop this real quick because I don't really have a whole lot besides that. The casting for the Good Omens series that's coming out on Amazon Prime in 2019.
Okay.
Good Omens being the book that was written by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
Right, yeah.
Michael Sheen was cast as the angel Aziraphale. David Tennant was cast as the demon Crowley. And it was just announced that John Hamm was cast as the archangel messenger of God, Gabriel.
Ah, I could see John Hamm as Gabriel.
Yep.
And then David Tennant, man. That guy just keeps getting some good work.
I didn't really watch Doctor Who, so I wasn't super familiar with David Tennant, but I watched Jessica Jones where he plays the Purple Man.
Right.
And he did such a fantastic job as like creepy evil guy.
Oh yeah, he's an incredible actor. He really is. Just his very kind of sleek features, and then his wide expressive eyes that he can pull out, just really making his face kind of draw out. That is just one of countless different things that he brings to any acting job. But his expressiveness is one of my favorite things. Really quick, back to Hellboy. Apparently, Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro both really wanted to do a third Hellboy movie, and Ron Perlman had kept trying to get fans interested in wanting to see it. But after this kind of turn of events, he recently did a Reddit AMA where somebody asked him, what he thinks about David Harbour's The New Hellboy, and his response was, "I've made my peace with it. I refuse to answer any questions about it."
Damn.
Yeah. So straight up shot dead.
Yeah. So he's basically saying he's irritated. He wanted to do it, but he kind of got fucked on it. So
yeah. And I mean, that's fair. Hellboy is one of those characters that I can only imagine how fun it is to play. But I mean, Perlman was built for that role. Like just his naturally wide jaw, and then all of the prosthetics that went on him, his mannerisms, his actions. I mean, he really brought that character to life for me. And it is my hope that David will do a similar job. But of course, as an actor, he'll want to put his own spin on it. So I'm interested to see actual footage of him as Hellboy. But Ron, you'll always be my Hellboy.
Well, and just from what I know of David Harbour from Stranger Things, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he is. He is also a very good actor.
Okay, so I just looked it up. Ron Perlman is 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
And David Harbour is 6'3".
Okay, so he's a little taller.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Which, I mean, I think that'll be fine. But I don't know if the comics ever really... I've only read just a smattering of Hellboy comics. And I've seen a few episodes of one of the cartoons that was put out a couple years ago.
So you didn't see the movie?
No, I've seen both movies with Ron Perlman. But I don't know if like just the height means anything to me at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's the deal with Hellboy as a character? Because I haven't seen the movies or read any Hellboy comics.
Oh, really? So you know nothing of Hellboy?
Yeah, I would go in completely blind.
So basically, Hellboy is a demon, very much from a Lovecraftian kind of external universe. He, as the Nazis were looking, at least according to the movie's canon, we'll just run with the movie's canon, because I don't know about the actual origin story from the comics. I've just read a few here and there.
Okay.
But from the movie canon, the Doctor found Hellboy while he was working with the government during World War II and tracking down the Nazis doing the more black magic experiments You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like looking for the Holy Grail and all of this, that, and the other, and excursions into the Bermuda Triangle to see if there's anything that was paranormal, that sort of thing.
The Spear of Destiny.
The Spear of Destiny, all of that. So he had tracked some of the Nazis to this. The Nazis were trying to open a portal using the not-so-dead enchanter Rasputin. And I think it was Rasputin, pretty sure. And he opened a portal to this other dimension. Hellboy was what was left over. He raised him as his own son and kind of trained him to fight these evils.
Okay.
So he actually has horns, but he cuts them off and files them down as they grow back because he doesn't like people staring at him and judging him for what he looks like.
So does he work on a team?
Yes, to a certain extent. He likes to think that he's a lone wolf, but he does work with a team. Abe Sapien, who is a amphibious, anthropomorphic fish man.
Okay.
Who has an incredible intelligence, and the girl who he kind of has a love interest in. I can't remember exactly what her name is.
Liz Sherman.
Liz, that's right, Liz Sherman, who has fire powers, kind of akin to Carrie, only she doesn't have a ton of control over them. But or Human Torch, you know.
Okay.
So that's kind of the thing in the movie is she doesn't really have a good handle on her powers and wants to be removed from those situations where she has to go hunting for monsters because she just wants to lead a normal life and be a normal girl.
Yeah, I'm reading the Wikipedia on Hellboy just to get a general idea as you're talking. And there is a character called Lobster Johnson in Hellboy, which is pretty awesome.
Right.
There's certain names I'll read in books and TV shows or see him in video games where I'll see him and be like, God damn, that's a perfect name.
Right.
And Lobster Johnson is such a great name.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I've heard of the character, but I don't think I've ever read any of the comics that have Lobster Johnson in them.
Yeah, I don't know. He's apparently a 1930s vigilante. That's all I know.
Okay, fair enough.
So if you're listening and you're a huge Hellboy fan, don't judge us.
Yeah, we don't know
any
much.
harsher than you would normally.
Right. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, the movie itself, the original movies were, they were kind of dark-ish, but they weren't like overtly dark. So it will be interesting to see if they take it a grittier turn. I mean, that seems to be the thing to do nowadays is make movies grittier. But I think that Hellboy would be okay with a grittier feel. Like I think it would be okay to venture into that territory.
Well, they're like kind of fun action movies, aren't they? Like dark action sort of comedy.
Yeah. I mean, the settings are dark, but I mean, there's still that movie polish to it, you know? It's not like handheld footage, shaky cam bullshit. It's like, okay, this was a production.
Apparently the new Hellboy is going to be rated R. I think the other Hellboy was rated PG-13.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It was a little more geared toward kids, especially it seems like the second movie. The second movie was a lot more family appropriate than even the first one. So
you can have a couple more cuss words in there, maybe an errant breast.
Right. Gotta love those errant breasts. So yeah, what else do you have there, Brandon Full?
Since we're on the topic of movies and stuff, I might as well round it off with this last one. Bob's Burgers has a movie coming in 2020. That was just announced.
Do you watch Bob's Burgers at all?
I watch it when it hits Netflix. Yeah. I don't try to like follow it before.
Yeah, I mean, Bob's Burgers is a pretty easy. It's not like they have any story arcs in particular that are going on. They'll make references back to things, but each episode is fairly standalone.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say as far as the movie goes.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that they're doing a movie. I mean, I guess if The Simpsons can do a proper movie after, you know, how many seasons that they had before they did it, I suppose Bob's Burgers could as well. But it seems like the era for TV cartoons coming out with their own movies has gone the way of the dodo. I mean, even Family Guy, they haven't had like an actual movie. They've done some made for TV, like the Blue Harvest stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was a story arc that involved Stewie meeting his future self that was kind of a movie. It was like a short movie.
Yeah, which actually ended up being pretty funny.
Oh yeah. I think they were funny. I think they're fine. It just seems like having a full-on production like that is a little odd nowadays.
Yeah, it does seem weird to take a popular cartoon and turn it into a movie, because even the Simpsons movie, I don't think like broke any records or really blew anybody's minds.
Yeah, I don't know if it did or not, honestly. It's hard to think back to that time. I know it was popular, but I don't know how popular. I mean, we had like the Beavis and Butthead movie. That at the time was like, okay, that's cool. Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to see how much.
You're fine.
It looked like, wow. It looks like it ended up making, the movie cost $75 million to make, and just in domestic, it made $183 million.
Right. Yeah.
And then another $343 million foreign.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember it did well, but I don't know if it was anything really to write home about.
So it apparently did very well, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it's The Simpsons. It's hard to fail.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I don't imagine the Bob's Burgers movie would fail regardless,
Yeah.
And maybe there is still an audience there for it. I mean, if the fucking Simpsons movie, people went to see it.
Yeah. And I think that there very well could be. I don't know how rabid the following for Bob's Burger is, but it seems like some of the actors and stuff, like John Benjamin, his following alone is really heavy. He's got a lot of fan base between Bob's Burgers and Archer and Coach McGurk, and if I remember correctly, he originally started off as like a staff writer on Conan.
He was originally in a comedy duo.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he had a show. I've seen it before. You can find it on YouTube.
John Benjamin Has a Van or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's been doing comedy and stuff for a while, because he was a guest on Space Ghost in the 90s.
Yeah. Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Either way, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, he either was a writer on there, or he's made appearances as somebody who was a writer on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like portraying somebody. So either way, he has a pretty rabid fan base himself. So I don't think that it would do bad. And the show is good. I watch Bob's Burgers whenever I'm watching TV. So.
Oh yeah, it's definitely something I'll throw on Netflix occasionally. So.
Yeah. And I mean, if that's saying a lot, if you were actually going out of your way to watch something,
Yeah.
Like, for me, if I were to have Netflix, I don't know if I would. Well, I don't know. I probably would still watch it. But, Netflix is one of those things that kind of TV watching for me is very foreign still.
What do you mean?
Since I still have cable, like I've had Netflix before, and I would binge watch things, but now I'm way busier than when I had Netflix the first time. So to sit and binge watch something is not something that I do, that I have time for.
You just have to make time for it. You just have to totally ignore every other important thing in your life.
Yeah.
And it becomes super easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like doing a podcast.
Yeah, just don't hold yourself to any standards whatsoever.
Uh-huh.
And then you can never let yourself down.
Exactly. There you go.
There's a little life lesson to all you ogres listening out there. All you little ogres laying in your cribs.
Keep your aspirations low.
Don't try and you won't fail.
That's right. Oh, geez. So yeah, I think that I don't know how good it'll do, but I think that there's nothing wrong with having a Bob's Burgers movie. The end. Let's move on to the next story, which is, this is October 4th.
Good story. Love it.
And 60 years ago, those dirty Russians launched Sputnik.
Those bastards.
I know. So in the true space race, the launch of... Sorry, I was reading.
Sorry, you just lost so that space race.
I was reading something as I was trying to talk. That space race was launched 60 years ago so Sputnik was just a satellite, was it not? Or did they have the dog in it? I don't remember.
No, the dog wasn't in Sputnik.
Okay.
Latka was in something else.
Okay. So yeah, it was the first artificial satellite. So this is an article from the Washington Post. We'll just go right off of this. Some little known facts about Sputnik. It was a byproduct of the Soviet missile system, or Soviet missile program. Amid a tense Cold War arms race with the United States, the Soviet Union focused its efforts on building the world's first intercontinental ballistic missile capable of delivering hydrogen warhead to the U.S. The R-7 missile was built by a team led by Sergei Korolyov, and tests of the rocket began in 1957. Korolyov, a visionary scientist, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing that horribly, Korolyov. Korolyov. A visionary scientist and a shrewd manager at the same time, pressed the reluctant military brass to use one of the first R-7s to put a satellite into orbit. He warned Soviet leaders that the U.S. was also developing a satellite and won the Kremlin's permission for the first launch. It was a very simple design.
So when was it launched?
It was launched October 4th in 1957.
Okay, so you were sort of right. The dog Laika that orbited the Earth was on Sputnik 2.
Okay.
And that was launched in November 3rd, 1957.
Okay. So just like a month later.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't remember the episode, but we did, if you want to hear us talk more about Laika the dog, we did an episode about ways to die in space.
Yes, we did.
We'll figure it out, and I'll link to it in the show notes for you to re-listen to. And you can hear all about Laika and the sad, horrible story of that talk.
That's right. It was the start of the space age. While the rest of the world was stunned by the Soviet accomplishment, the Kremlin's leadership seemed to be slow to grasp the scope of the event. The first official Soviet report of Sputnik's launch was brief and buried deep inside the pages of Pravda, the Communist Party's daily newspaper. Only 2 days after the launch did it come out with a banner headline and quotes of the foreign accolades. Light and sound in the sky. Sputnik contained a radio transmitter broadcasting a distinctive beep 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 sound. Pravda published a description of Sputnik's orbit to help people watch it pass. However, it didn't mention that the light seen moving across the night sky was in fact the spent booster rocket's second stage, which was in roughly the same orbit as the satellite. The tiny orbiter itself was invisible to the naked eye. So if you looked up into the night sky, hoping to see Sputnik's orbit, what you were actually seeing was the booster rocket.
Okay. So just in 60 years, we went from launching the first artificial Earth satellite to we have fucking robots on Mars. And we're talking about trying to send people to Mars.
Yep. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it's all slowing down because the budget for NASA has just gotten cut to almost nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real bummer that our space exploration is dwindling. I mean, it's just, you would think that if there were, well, I mean, I don't really want to get political, but I think it's fair to say that it seems like we are so involved in worrying about the things that make everybody different than each other, so we can hate on that something that brings us together, like getting to Mars, is kind of a moot point.
Yeah.
At this venture. So Sputnik orbited Earth for 3 months before burning up in the atmosphere. So
there's no race in space, Remington.
Exactly. So
put that on a t-shirt.
Yes, there's no race in space. We'll see if it doesn't exist already.
Everyone's black in space.
Trademarked. Yes. I can go with that.
Okay.
You know, space is black.
Can it say everyone's black in space and then have like a cartoon moon like winking? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. In space, everybody is a cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah.
These are all TM'd. All TM'd and copywritten, by the way.
Can I put any of my ex-girlfriend's names on the shirts too?
Any and all.
Yeah.
Oh, I know at least half of your ex-girlfriends. And
So how are those cold-hearted bitches doing, Rem?
That, they're okay. They're just hanging out, So happy 60th birthday, Sputnik, you rusky bastard.
Donka.
That's German.
Donka?
Danke is German.
Sputnik's German? I did that on purpose to lead you into my next story about Sputnik in Germany.
Yeah? Do you actually have a Sputnik Germany? You're lying to me, aren't you?
This is about as close as it can get.
Okay.
So YouTube has been demonetizing videos. And we just...
Uh-huh.
I'm so good at segues. YouTube has been demonetizing videos, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
How they suddenly decided that videos have to be advertiser friendly.
Right, yeah.
And they can go through and pull ads off of a video that you've had ads on before. So this was a big thing in the YouTube community for a while, and it's still talked about, where you might have a video you put up 2 years ago that's your most watched video and you're still earning income from it.
Yeah.
Suddenly they flag it that it's not appropriate and demonetize it, and now you've lost that bit of income.
Right.
So people have been moving more towards a Patreon model with YouTube.
Yeah.
So they won't put ads on their videos, and then they'll have a little thing at the end that says, click here to donate to my Patreon.
Right.
YouTube has now said that you can't promote your Patreon on your video unless you have ads on your video.
Yeah. But you can still do it down in the description below.
You can do it in the description, you just can't do it in the video. So
Yeah.
Originally I read this story and I thought it was a lot worse than it is, but it still goes back to the point of YouTube has to make money. So I see it from their point of view, because they're losing money by people not throwing ads on their videos and just sending everybody to a third-party site.
Yeah.
But at the same time, YouTube is continuing to just piss off major content creators with this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, YouTube is all about the content creator, and now it's trying to move its model. And the problem is that it's too big to move its model. It's too big for its own britches, in my opinion. I think that YouTube needs to tell the advertisers that, hey, do you want people to buy your shit, or do you want us to just shut down? Because that's what's going to happen. YouTube has been hemorrhaging money for Google every year that they've had it anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that the time of YouTube is coming to a close. I think that we're going to see people using it a lot less. I think we're going to be seeing people using streaming services, and more people are going to be streaming. I've already seen some of my favorite YouTubers are streaming on YouTube more. And I think that our content is going to be more relegated to tuning in and watching people live stream, or only having a video of said live stream to watch for a certain amount of time before it's just drops off of the server.
Right, yeah.
Because to be fair, if I'm watching a bunch of Markiplier videos or Tested or Woodworking for Mere Mortals, well, I take that back. Sometimes I'll go back and reference Woodworking for Mere Mortals to see a technique that I want to remind myself of. But in those other instances, I don't go back and watch their older videos.
Yeah.
And are there people who might come in to, say, Markiplier and want to see his older stuff? Sure. I think that that's something that people would want to do, to kind of catch themselves up and see how he's grown as a creator over this time. The same could be said for Tested or anybody else for that matter. But I think YouTube would be better served, instead of demonetizing videos and bending over to take the reaming from the advertisers who say, oh, we don't want our advertising to be on a video that talks about rape.
Yeah.
I think that it's more appropriate that YouTube says, let's just demonetize videos that are older, or that are not as popular. Because if having, let's say from a business standpoint, that actually turning on monetization for videos is so I don't know. I had to leave everybody for a second. Got a phone call from work.
So the thoughts may have trailed off there, but
Yeah.
really, I think we've talked about this a bunch, and unless there's any new information that comes out later on, like YouTube's going to do what it's going to do. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Remington, you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, I agree. They turned off our monetization.
For everything?
Yeah. We don't have, you have to meet so many views before you are allowed to monetize.
Oh yeah, you have to have over 10,000.
Yeah. So we don't have anywhere close to that. So if you guys want to go watch or listen to us on YouTube,
10,000 times.
I will be perfectly honest. It doesn't really matter. We didn't get a whole lot of monies from the YouTubes anyway. So yeah. I would sooner see you support us by going and buying a shirt or, just calling me and saying, hey, I'll give you $20 or $5 or $1. I would like to set up a Patreon at some point. But part of the draw of the Patreon is having extra things that people can donate to as well. We're not very good at coming up with extra content.
No.
So, I've got everything almost in line to set up a Patreon. I think I have an account and everything, but I haven't launched anything. But, if that's something that you guys would be supportive of, please let us know in the comments. Even if it's just, hey, I'll throw you guys $1 a month,
Yeah.
If that's no big deal to you, it would be absolutely the best thing for us. Like if you can spare $1 a month for us and we've got 50 people, that's $50 that pays for.
That's enough for an 8-ball.
Yeah, exactly. That's enough for an 8-ball. So I can get down behind that.
You can
behind
get wet.
The 8-ball.
You can get spooked on drugs. You can get, I don't know what the terms are for drugs anymore.
You can get drugged on hooks.
You can get whacked out on giggle dust.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay, anyway, so I don't know. YouTube, you're stupid.
But Remington, speaking of getting whacked out on giggle dust.
Yeah.
Applebee's is now offering $1 margaritas through the month of October.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So if you're really into margaritas, you can get your crunk on at Applebee's.
Get your crunk on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Not a problem.
You can get your crunk on while you do the Lindy.
Yeah, well, if they're celebrating Halloween by getting everybody drunk, Overwatch is celebrating Halloween by having a Halloween-themed event. The Halloween Terror makes a return next week and will run for the remainder of the month, offering new cosmetic items for players to earn. Blizzard announced today that the Halloween Terror has a release date of October 10th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and it runs through November 2nd. It's also shared the very brief teaser video that shows off new Halloween-themed skins for McCree and Reaper, the latter of which already had an excellent one from last year's event.
So there's a big excuse to go and spend a shit ton more money on loot boxes and let Blizzard just shove their big fist right up your consumer butthole.
That's right. And I love Blizzard. That's no secret that I love myself some Blizzard games. I think that they do their microtransactions well. I think that they have, gone a long way in bringing free-to-play games out. Because Heroes of the Storm is there are microtransactions in that. There are microtransactions in Hearthstone, but they're both free-to-play. So I think that that's fair.
Here's my problem with it real quick, because we've talked about microtransactions. I don't want to keep rehashing the same stuff all the time.
Right.
But they broke down what the chances are for the different skins in the loot boxes, and they're very, very slim to get every skin.
Sure.
For these Halloween events.
Yeah.
You basically are spending the amount of money you would have to spend to statistically get every skin is astronomical.
Sure. But
and I get, if you were going to say, and I'm sorry, let me just finish this point. I get the argument of, well, it's just for looks. You don't need the skin. They don't affect the gameplay, which is good. But there are enough people playing this game, and there are enough people that want those skins, that it doesn't matter that they don't affect the game. It's a point now where people are going to keep dropping money on these loot boxes to try to get these skins. And you're going to get a lot of people with these addictive personalities who are just going to pound money into these loot boxes and spend a shit ton more than actually buying the game.
Well, I mean, whatever to that, because it doesn't matter. There are an infinite number of games out there that have the same kind of a system, where if you have an addictive personality, you're going to find something to spend your damn money on. So, but there are other ways to get these loot boxes as well. So,
yeah, but to actually earn them in game is almost impossible to earn enough to remotely get close to the skins you need to.
If you're not playing it enough that's one of your actual goals, then you probably don't care about these skins in the first place.
But you literally can't play it enough in the time that it happens to get all the skins without spending money.
I mean,
and you can get the same skins over again.
You're only doing that if you're the kind of crazy asshole who's a completionist. Like, no,
if you're the kind of person who only plays Mercy,
right,
and you're a Mercy player, and I just want Mercy's fucking Halloween skin because it's cool, I'm gonna keep unlocking things, the loot boxes. Oh, I got a Hanzo skin. Oh, I'll buy a loot box. Oh, cool, I got the Hanzo skin again that I can turn into whatever, some points that go a 10th towards another loot box. That's what keeps people buying. It's not the crazy ass completionist. It's the person who wants the skins for the characters they like. And you can't just buy the skins.
I have to say that at this, I mean, you're right. We've hashed this. It is what it is, though, anymore. Like, that's just the nature of things.
No, I know. And there's a balance between accepting it as well. This isn't going to change, but also being like, we should at least acknowledge it. The people who don't agree with it, myself, should at least acknowledge it, so there is a dissenting voice and it's not just immediately allowing stuff like this to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't necessarily agree with it, but at the same time, there's a lot of money that goes into keeping servers up and improvements and these games.
And I've heard that argument, but if you think Blizzard, because I've heard even Blizzard,
but they still have to make money too.
But Blizzard has so much goddamn money. Like the amount, yeah, I'm sure they're paying a lot to keep servers open. They're not paying that much that it's gonna fucking bankrupt Blizzard.
How do
Blizzard
you know?
Is so fucking Overwatch is one of the highest selling games of all time. How many people, the World of Warcraft people, have still dropped off, but people are still paying $15 a month? You're just shrugging. You can't see it on the podcast, but you're just shrugging at me.
I'm paying $15 a month and I haven't played World of Warcraft in months.
Fucking exactly. And how many people are doing that? World of Warcraft has what, like probably 1 million, 2 million?
Oh, I have no, I don't even know what the fucking count is anymore. I have no idea.
Yeah. And I will, to wrap it up, I will say, and I acknowledge, there's so much more important shit going on in the world to get wrapped up in the microtransactions. And I see bitching online a lot about it. Granted, I hang out in gaming subreddits. I think a lot of what developers are doing scummy. I won't get into it. I'll put some links in the show notes if you're listening and are really curious about some of the other stuff. Forza, the new Forza game just launched.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some real, every year you could buy the VIP membership and you got an extra 100% on your races.
Right.
An extra 100% credit permanently. That's what the VIP membership did. This year, the description for the VIP membership was the same thing it is every year, except when people got Forza who paid for the extra VIP membership, which I think was $25, it now isn't a permanent boost. It's 25 one-use items and that's it. After you use those 25 items that you've paid basically $1 a piece for, you have the regular game.
Yeah.
They didn't mention it in the description. It was worded the same way it has been every other year. So there's been a lot of stuff going on with that. Bethesda, the company that I love so much and would talk about forever, has been doing some real scummy shit with their new Creation Club.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'll link to some of this stuff because again, I could talk about this shit for hours and I'm sure the listeners are sick of hearing me rail about it at this point. But
well, I mean, that being said, if you are interested in the Halloween event and not just shitting all over microtransactions, you can click on one of the links below as well to hook up your Twitch account to Amazon Prime and get free loot boxes and stuff that way for just all kinds of different games.
Yeah, so if you want to give more of your fucking information to these companies so they can start emailing you with
Through
like, hey,
us.
just now. Oh, it's through us?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's
if you want
supporting
to
us.
get
It's
free
part of the
loot box-
Amazon affiliate code, you jackass.
I didn't pick up on that.
But it's
Okay.
cool.
So if you want to support Blizzard, go ahead and click on our Amazon link. Nothing bad comes from that.
Not just Blizzard.
Amazon,
Twitch, and Blizzard. You're giving it to all three of them.
Yeah. The great thing about Amazon Prime is you get to pay for Prime and you get free Prime shipping and you get Amazon TV.
Yeah.
And the only thing you're sacrificing beyond, was it like $7 a month or something?
Yeah, something like that. I don't.
Is they just
it varies.
mine all of your personal information to sell to companies.
Yeah, and I mean,
So-
everybody does that anyway. You can't get away from it.
Yeah,
Much
click-
like you can't get away from microtransactions. So
Click on our affiliate link and start stocking up on fucking jars of canned peaches because when the inevitable war happens, and it will happen.
If you don't mind waiting on the shipping, you get an extra $1 to your Amazon pantry. If
Fuck,
you
yeah,
choose
there you go. Everything's in place.
Speaking of video games and new microtransactions, my last story, Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta is now out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC for people who pre-ordered Battlefront 2 by September 30th or
Yes.
otherwise obtained a beta code. So everyone else can begin playing on Friday, October 6th, with the beta running until October 9th. So
Battlefront 2 looks cool.
mm-hmm.
I get a free copy for working at NASA.
Right.
They give
Because
us a free
it's-
copy of Battlefront 2.
Because it's space relegated, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I got a free copy of Destiny 2.
Also, in space.
because of space.
Yeah.
And then I'll also get a copy of Call of Duty World War II. I'm not sure what the NASA connection is there, but
Well, I mean, they probably make reference to early NASA in World War II, right? I mean,
when they're in the trenches, they're like, "Damn! If only we had some sort of national aerospace organization." I actually don't know what NASA stands for.
National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Naruto always says anus.
So, okay, I was gonna try and power through that one, but it was. They also EA released announcements on the details for the PC version. The minimum PC requirements is a 64-bit Windows 7, AMD FX 6350 processor, and Intel Core i5 6600K, at least 8 gigs of RAM. At least an AMD Radeon HD 7850 with 2 gigs or an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 660 at 2 gigs.
Damn.
DirectX 11. At least 512 kilobits per second or faster internet connection, and a hard drive that has 15 gigs of space. That's the minimum requirements.
A fucking 2 gig graphics card. I know they're up to like 4 gig graphics cards now. But when I built my PC, I skimped on the graphics card like a fucking idiot.
Right.
And I have a 1 gig card.
Oh, wow.
And have issues on certain stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So a 2 gigs graphics cards are in like the $150. So basically, you need a gaming PC to run this game when it comes out.
Go figure. You need a gaming PC to run a game, a high-end title, a high-end EA title.
Did I tell you about my experience with Star Wars Battlefront?
You may have.
Experience.
You may have, but I mean, go ahead. I don't remember it.
So I picked up Battlefront on sale on Xbox One 6 months ago or so. It was on sale for $20 for the full edition with all the DLC and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't pass it up for that. I know it's an online only game,
right?
A big multiplayer team-based game, which I don't really like that much. I'm pretty shitty at first-person shooters, but for $20 Star Wars, I'd give it a shot.
Sure.
So I start playing it, and the times to find a game is so long. Like literally 10 minutes to connect me to a game.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I played a couple games. I'm getting my ass kicked. I stop. Couple days later, I load it up again and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play a couple games. I like this game all right. So I load it up. 15 minutes it takes me to find a game, right?
Right.
Sometimes it'll throw you into a game in the middle of it going on. It just finds the nearest game that needs a person.
Yeah.
So I wait, and it's not an exaggeration, 15 minutes. It connects me to the game as I see the countdown from 30 seconds to the match ending.
Right.
So I get my gun and I run, and then I see the countdown. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? And then time runs out. I'm on the losing team. I get a couple points, and then it kicks me back out to the lobby to start searching for another game. And genuinely that happened, and I just like nodded, backed out, uninstalled. I was just like, I'm not fucking doing this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe you'll have better luck with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah. And fortunately, there's going to be a lot of loot boxes in that. So, hey guys, remember, buy your loot boxes, Star Wars Battlefront 2. You want Yoda's lightsaber? $10. Boom, boom, boom. Hopefully you get it. Random. Pull the Pachinko machine. Click on that Amazon link. Go ahead and buy the...
So
Go ahead and buy the collector's edition.
So
get
if you
Kylo
have
Ren's hat.
any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978 DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page like some of these nice, fine, beautiful, lovely, awesome people. Brandon?
Well, Remington, I'm going to go ahead and read the comments to everybody this time. But if you're listening and you want to hear us do the shout outs next time, you can buy one of our Dueling Ogres power packs. Those are going to be $2.99, and we'll mix them up and you'll get one of our shout outs. So the first one's always free because the pusher man's got tombstones in his eyes. So I get a little heated.
It's vitriolic. I love it. It's so sexy when you talk like that.
Okay, so on our last episode where we discussed the Voynich manuscript in depth, hopefully it was interesting. I didn't re-listen, but hopefully we managed to make it interesting.
Right.
Josh Halls, who I think, is that the Josh from What's Going On?
Yes, that's Cash.
Okay. Why is he Cash? Do you know? Is Cash in his name?
No, I believe that was one of his early wrestling monikers.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but I might not be.
Fair enough. You really hedged your bets on that.
It could really go either way. And if you really want to find out, you can buy the extended pack for $3.99 and get a random chance to be at least half right about something at some point in your life.
I love it. I'm going to buy 10.
Great.
He says, one of these days, future humans and or anthropomorphic squid sapiens will look back on GeoCities archives with the same interest and confusion that we look at the Voynich manuscript with. And he has a very valid point.
Yes.
I think in the scheme of things, if we go through this future where humanity crumbles and aliens come upon our civilization, or not even aliens, but just future generations that are so far removed, I could see them looking at stuff like that. You know,
right.
Maybe they don't speak English anymore, or they speak a weird version of English and are just like, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah.
Glizglar, who is Alyssa Milano?
Yeah.
And why are her feet so blantilizing? Jordan Lowe did a little bit of correction on what we said here.
Okay.
He put his foot down a little bit. This was talking about the panel that we discussed last time that you were on, and how it kind of just seemed to happen. There was no announcement or anything. He said, first, I very specifically remember introducing the sci-fi panel because I blanked on the name of Kirk's podcast.
Right.
You make it sound like this was thrown together at the last minute with little to no preparation or something.
Right.
Now, was he joking or was he actually irritated? Do you know?
He was probably joking.
Okay. Second, the vendor you were talking about with the 3D printed merch was Stark's Props, I believe. And then he gives their Etsy link. We can share that again in the show notes if you remind me when I make the page, Remington.
Right.
And third, if you aren't properly laundering the huge influx of cash a pop culture podcast brings in, then you're just a sucker.
Yeah. Would you go ahead and read my response to that, please?
Yeah. You said, 1, it was glorious, intricately planned, and I loved it. 2, talking about the vendor, thanks, I'm gonna go buy all their non-licensed reproductions of, quote, fan art. And 3, this makes me want to shout TM.
Yeah, because shout is a stain removal. It's used in laundry. It was a laundering joke.
I didn't get that at all.
Well, you're pretty stupid, so.
I thought you would. All right. We'll just go ahead and move on past that one then. Viscount Terry W. Irvin said, amazingly found this on the defunct GeoCities site. Someone that sent to the site was a person ahead of his or her time, as was Alyssa Milano, it would appear. And there is a picture of Alyssa Milano holding the Dueling Ogres logo as she's walking down the street.
Yep, apparently.
Which I can appreciate. I'm glad. And yeah, the old Milanonator has been a listener of the show for quite a while.
Yeah, for 10 years at least.
Yeah, she loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he linked a guy named George Voinovich. My first thought, sadly, was some book by this guy on Dueling Ogres, and that had me scratching my head. I guess I should read the show notes more clearly. George Voinovich was apparently a
senator in Ohio, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of him before. The guy who doesn't follow politics, I've heard of this guy.
I follow politics that matter. Local politics don't matter, and don't let anybody tell you different. There's no reason to ever vote in your local elections because it's all fucking rigged.
But during the next city council election, make sure to vote for Terry Irvin II.
Yeah. And if you pay the extra money to buy the gerrymandered voters bundle, which is $4.99, and you get it bi-monthly, it gives you 2 votes, except sometimes it gives you no votes.
So the going back to Jordan and my response on the fan art thing, I was rereading. I think this is something that warrants us having a discussion about at some point. But people at cons selling what is essentially fan art, artists who may very well have done, comic book work, but also they've never done Spider-Man. They don't have the rights to draw Spider-Man, but here they are, drawing a Spider-Man for somebody. I think it's something that is interesting. We have dealings with a lot of artists. We meet a lot of artists, and we meet a lot of newer artists. I think it's fair to one day have a good podcast discussion about what constitutes fan art. Is fan art something that you can actually do and make a living off of? Is it something that you should be making a living off of? And
well, here's something.
What the companies think about it.
I hadn't mentioned this to you yet, but whenever I went to the PopCon, I got a couple business cards from people, and I talked to, there was a guy there, and I've seen him around before at different cons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you saw him too. I think you guys might have bought some prints off of him. He had like a shit ton of prints he was selling, and he does artwork, a lot of licensed material.
Right.
I got his information to have him on to do an interview with him sometime about just his business and doing the con circuit and stuff. I'll try to contact him and see if within the next couple of weeks he's interested in being on, and we can, talk a little bit about him and also have this discussion with somebody who actually does this, sells fan art.
Absolutely. That would be awesome.
Fucking professional and stuff.
As shit. Yep. And
watch your language, please.
And we also did hit up the Parkersburg PopCon. I was there with a panel, what's going on with Joel Cash and the Freebird. Brandon wasn't able to make it at the time, but he did make it to the con later and did some networking on his own because I had to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So we both made an appearance there in some way, shape, or form.
And that is up already.
Yes. And so you can actually listen to what's going on, that podcast panel over at What's Going On. If you search SoundCloud, they post their episodes to SoundCloud. So just type in What's Going On with Joel Cash and the Freebird, and you can find that episode. We'll probably link it down in the description below as well.
Yes. I have a couple more comments on our episode here.
Okay.
To get through, Diamond Man Stephen Hines says, so Brandon, how does your furry co-host taste? Stephen spent the night with you, so at this point, he can answer that question.
Damn right he can.
Larry Hott said, big hairy ball gag, in reference to me describing you.
Yep, this was during the outtakes, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever will you hear stuff like this from the Kapow crew. Ogre stole my heart.
Yep, that's true.
Larry, we're sorry about stealing your heart. We need it for some sort of Ogre podcast rituals.
Yep.
We can't promise you'll get it back because you won't.
Right.
And then, for some reason, the episode, you shared it twice. I'm guessing because we missed a week, so you went ahead and just shared it again. So we had some more comments on that.
Okay.
Diamond Man Stephen Hines commented on that one and said, clearly the Voynich manuscript is the Necronomicon, time to grab your boomstick, which again, he stayed the night with you, so I'm sure there was a lot of boomstick grabbing.
Yep.
And then Jesse Starcher said, was a good episode, gents. That Voynich manuscript, it's some crazy stuff.
It is indeed.
So thank you everybody for the comments.
Yep. Jesse has the Source Material podcast. Shout out to him on the Radulich in Broadcasting Network. Jordan Lowe, you can listen to him jibber jabber along with the Kapow the Pop Culture podcast people, our mortal enemies. And yeah, I think that wraps up the episode.
They're mortal enemies, but I just want to French them.
Yeah, French them. French them with our fist.
French them with hatred and my tongue. I call my tongue hatred.
I like it. Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com for new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Amanda just released her fourth YouTube expose on Vanoss Gaming. Not her favorite channel, but she did a great job telling us why she wasn't a fan in the first place. But
okay.
Everybody has their own likes and dislikes. Some people like Jacksepticeye, some people don't. Some people like Markiplier, some people don't. I hate PewDiePie, and he's the biggest damn YouTuber out there. So
yeah, the thing that I like about PewDiePie is he taught me that sometimes you could just accidentally say the N-word, and it's okay.
I just don't like his voice. That's it.
I mean, there's only so many times you can kind of plead ignorance on being racist before you just kind of racist. That's all I have to say on that. But I think this is coming from two guys who you edited out early on, literally 10 minutes of us doing an Asian voice about Asian drivers.
We did.
And even then we had the forethought after an argument back and forth a little bit of like, this went too far. Let's not release that.
Yeah.
So I feel like and I mean, not to get into that because this is the end of the show. I feel like there is a time and a place sometimes for racial humor. We've said stuff. You've done a Jewish voice. We've made jokes before that are walking the line that are going to keep us from getting elected. But I feel like I'm also of the opinion that any humor, if done correctly, anything can be funny.
Yeah.
You know, but when you just spout the N-word in the heat of a moment and then say like, oh, it was an accident, I don't know. If it comes, I don't know what PewDiePie sounds like. I assume he's Italian or some other dirty.
That was a really good.
Some other dirty European race.
Swedish accent, yeah.
Yeah, if it comes that easily to you, you probably say it all the time.
I disagree to a point with that statement, but like I said, it's the end of the show.
You say it all the time, so of course you disagree with it.
I hate you. Finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star. No, we're done with that whole line of conversation. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Satchel, or pretty much anywhere you can find a show. We are now on the Google Play, Google Music, whatever it is.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's up. So somebody mentioned at the last con that they couldn't find us on it. I thought I had set it up. I guess I didn't finalize it. So years in the making, we are now on Google.
Yes.
So until next week, Ogres.
Wait, no.
What?
Actually,
okay.
I have a quick shout out to do. It will be out probably by next episode. I'm not sure. I was on another podcast. It's called the Halloween Podcast.
Okay.
Very simple name. You can search it on iTunes, whatever. What it is, it's a guy who does another podcast. Apparently a very high rated podcast. I had no idea. I don't know why the fuck I was on there, but somehow I made it on there.
Yay.
He's doing a Halloween podcast, which is an episode a day, every day of Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Either doing it himself or having people on to talk about things. So I've mentioned this before. I was on there to talk about Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I think it's a good episode because I fucking love that movie, and he did not enjoy it at all. So we have some discussions about that. That episode is coming out Friday the 13th of this month.
Fantastic.
So we'll share it when it comes out. But in the meantime, check it out because there's some good stuff on there. His name is Lyle. He does this Halloween podcast, and then he also does one. I don't have it in front of me. The Amazing Advertiser or the Amazing Advertising Podcast. Something like that. It's about advertisements.
You'll probably link that too.
Yeah, I'll link it all. I'll fucking shove all the links.
There will be 100 links in this.
I'm going to do the Ice Bucket Challenge, but with links.
And at least 75% of them will get you the Dueling Ogres Singles Pack, which is only $1.99. So until next week, Ogres, keep your gloves blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night.
Can you edit it right after you say Club's Blunt? And then we'll in the episode there and then put a PayPal link and they'll have to pay an extra $2 to hear me say Tusk Sharp.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. We'll do that.
The Dueling Ogres Founders Pack.
I love it. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh no! And then what we do is we'd have different tiers. We can use this for Patreon. The lowest tier you're the wooden club.
Yeah.
Then the next tier you're the iron club.
Yeah, and then the bronze club.
And then the steel club.
Yeah. Well, it would be bronze, iron, and then steel, right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. The wood club, the stone club, the copper club, the bronze club, the iron club, the steel club, and then the Billy club.
Perfect. And the Billy club is if you donate $1,000 a month.
Yes. Man, wouldn't it be awesome if we had some actual patron, some rich motherfucker who had $1,000 laying around a month,
who wanted to just break it down to give us $12,000 a year?
Yeah. At that tier, we'd probably have to suck some dick.
For $12,000?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think he's just super charmed by our pirate impressions.
Yeah, that would be the hope. Not the reality, but the hope. Ah! Ah! Just screaming into microphones.
Yeah. That's basically what a podcast is.
Yeah, it is. Oh, baby, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
All right.
All right. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Did you burp? Research suggests that our smartphones are making us cranky.
Research suggests everything.
Research suggests that you're beautiful, and we know that's not true.
Hey.
I'm sorry. You're beautiful in your own special way. Pretty sure I just threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm reading, so I'm not watching the camera, and that sounded like a horror movie.
Mm-hmm, it was. It's interesting enough to talk about, I think, for a hot second. Okay, do you have a ton of stories?
I have like 6.
Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So
we have stories for days.
Stories for days. Oh, I need a script. Let's get the script going. I need a word, please.
Reactive.
I feel like we've done reactive.
Proactive. Activia.
Activity. Only if you're going to talk about her joining the movie again.
I think we talked about that last week.
Did we?
Or last episode.
Are you sure?
No.
I don't think we did.
I've never seen the Halloween movies, though.
Oh, really?
Nope.
That's weird.
Michael Myers doesn't really interest me as a killer.
That's interesting. I figured that you would have been right on it with him. Because he's basically a killing robot. No emotion. No weird faces. Look like one of those giant fucking weird fish from way deep in the ocean. Yeah. Should have licked my lips first. Let's see. Last week was manuscripted, or last weekish. Let's do Bonerific.
I feel like we've done Bonerific before, actually.
Horrific? I'll take that as a solid maybe.
We'll keep that up on the whiteboard, but let's keep tossing ideas out there, maybe.
Oh man, are we gonna? You said we're gonna mention Bob's Burgers movie?
Yeah.
What story do you think that we'll get the most talk out of?
I have a couple different stories. I have some YouTube stuff that we might be able to get some out of.
I've got the cell phones making us grumpy. I've got today is the 60th anniversary of the Sputnik launch. I've got God damn it. Got Overwatch Halloween shit, and then the Star Wars Battlefront.
Let's do something spacey since we have Sputnik and Star Wars. Cosmological, bonerific, space boners, Bone Force 1.
Bone Force 1. Meteoric.
Meteoric, yeah, that'll work.
I like Meteoric. We'll do Meteoric. And it's another M word. Meteoric. Okay. Save. All right, and here we go.